Good morning, everyone. Today I'm going to walk you through the look that I normally wear to work day to day. So I'm going to take you through a step-by-step using all of my favorite GPD products, and I'm going to explain as I go through. So I'm starting with my KNC eye patches on. I'm just going to pull my hair back and we're going to get into it. So I did a little recent order on gpd.com because I'm running low of some makeup, and one of the things I got was the Light Peach Concealer Stick. I've definitely been noticing that I'm needing more brightness than usual. So starting with that on my eyelid, that's just gonna brighten everything up, and blending with my contour and highlight brush. So when I'm in a typical day-to-day, I set everything with our invisible powder. So even the concealer I just did, to make sure that it lasts me all day. This is also nice if you are on the go, or like me, tend to run warm-blooded and things start to move on your face quite quickly after you've applied it. This is an amazing powder to help keep everything in place. So one of the things I like to do for my eyes to use my makeup dual action is using a little bit of blush on my eyelid and then using our contour, using our bronzer as contour in my eyelid. So I'm gonna take the Coral Sun blush, which I'm gonna use later on my cheeks, and I use it on my lid as a base color. So just a nice soft sweep of the Coral Sun on both lids. And then I take our Golden Glow, using the same brush because I like when all the colors sort of blend together, and I rock that in the crease. So it's a very minimal and simple color tone, but it just gives me a little bit more definition. Then I like to take, so I've been wearing our black felt tip liner recently, but my original and first love is our Ivy gel eyeliner. It's like a deep forest green. I love it. It really brings out the color of my eyes. And I do this very similarly, just on the middle to the end of the eye. So I'm gonna do that now. And again, I always recommend when you're using a pencil to make sure it's super sharp. That's gonna take half the thinking out of the application. So just taking that and working it in my lash line. And I only just go halfway. And anything that needs a little bit of finessing, because our makeup is all mineral, it has a really beautiful moving ability. So you can really move it and work it as you need it. So that's just a little bit of the green Ivy. And I'm gonna curl my lashes and then go into filling my brow. Oops. I'm gonna curl my lashes and then go into filling in my brows. So with the lash curler, you wanna pulse. And you can do that as much as you want. And I'm actually just gonna do my first layer of lash primer before I do my brows. So the lash primer is really one of my most underrated products. It really does work to nourish the lashes, and it also keeps your mascara on longer and makes your mascara honestly look even better. I used to skip this step, and now I really do swear by it. Making sure I get every lash, and I curled before that so that I can just go in with mascara when this is done. So now coming in with my felt tip, my Precision Brow Pencil. It's got a super fine tip to it, so it really does mimic the look of a hair. And I just stroke that into my brow and work it into the shape that I want. And then I take the spoolie on the other end and just brush it through. So working that mostly for me in the fronts, that's where I have the least amount of density, and also my brow tint has tremendously faded. So this will give me what I'm looking for. Brush that through. And then I take our Highbrow, which is our tinted brow gel. So this is basically like brow tint in a product. And I go one shade darker than I probably should, which is the Brunette Light. And that really gives me the pop that I'm looking for. And this essentially colors the hairs. So this is gonna give you a brow tint effect. It comes in many colors, but for me, I like to give myself more of a brunette look right now because my hair is turning a little more brunette, and so it all sort of works. The other thing I'm gonna do just to finish off the eye before mascara is I take that light peach concealer and I just line it under my brow bone. And that's also gonna give me the appearance of a more lifted, open brow, and also helps to conceal any hairs that we're not tweezing right now. So that just gives me more of a lift. Okay, so we're gonna go in with mascara. So I've done on my eyes, just to recap, I started with a base of concealer on them. Then I used our Coral Sun blush as a all over color. And then I used our Golden Glow bronzer in the crease. I used our Ivy, which is a deep forest green pencil. And I just did half the eye. I've curled my lashes, put on our lash primer, and now I'm going in with mascara. So this is our XL mascara, which I will use quite a few times, and I make sure to get every lash. I personally like to coat up and down on the lash because I like to get the tops of the lashes. And I always suggest that when you put on your mascara, focus on lifting the lashes upwards as opposed to going outwards. That's gonna also really wake up your eyes and make your lash line just look really full throughout. I personally don't put any mascara on the bottom, but if that's something that you like, now would be the time. Okay, so now I'm gonna take off my eye patches. And I'm gonna come in with our foundation stick and more of the concealer. So I take the foundation stick. For me, I've got really oily skin and very large pores, so I like to have a more matte finish to my skin, where you may have seen my sister Nat use Prime Skin and Mineral Sheer Tint. And while I wish and I love the look of those things, it just is way too glowy and almost wet looking on my skin. So I like to have a more matte finish, and that's why I love this foundation multi-stick. This is literally all I have left. It's like quite large when you get it. So I did that basically on my complexion, and then I'm going to take the light peach and put that right under my eye out into my hairline. I also will put that on top of the crevice around the nose and on the lips, around the lips, sorry, and then just a little above the brow. So sometimes I like to put them both on together so that when I blend them, they all blend together really well. If you have a moment, I like to just let it sit for a few minutes. If you can, maybe do your hair, because I do think that when you let it sit, it does have better lasting power. So I'm just gonna go in and start blending with the contour and highlight brush that I used originally. I do really love those KNC eye patches. They're so cute. I think they're about $8 each, but they do come in packs of 5 and 10. But they're really nice to wear during the morning if you're making your coffee or doing a morning meditation. It really does help to hydrate. So you can see how that all blends together, really beautiful. And my skin has a creamy look and feel to it, which is really what I want. If you are more on the dehydrated side or you're looking for the glow, I would suggest our Prime Skin or our Mineral Sheer Tint. But if you're like me and have more of an oily complexion, this is really the magic. So now I'm gonna set all of that with our invisible powder with my powder brush. And this, again, for me, is gonna help with oil control, and it's gonna keep the makeup in place I'm sure you guys have seen a lot on Instagram, loose powders with sponges, and honestly that whole process just takes too long for me. So I much prefer using our powder brush and the invisible powder. Now I'm going to come in with bronzer. So I'm using our fan brush and again the Golden Glow, which I used in the crease, and putting that on the frame of my face. So forehead, cheekbone, jawline, neck, forehead, cheekbone, jawline, neck. And if you wanted to sort of amp up your eyes, you could take this again with your brush and come back in if you wanted to. But I'm happy with how it's looking. And for me, bronzer makes me feel really fresh, so I use a lot of it. I'm gonna come back in with another coat of mascara. If you do love mascara like me, it's all about the layers. And you guys will see when you use the lash primer how much better your mascara lasts. Okay, so now again, to go back to our dual action purpose, I'm gonna use the Coral Sun, which I used on the base of my eyelid as my blush. I do love this blush. It's an original G Beauty color. And I'm taking our mini Kabuki brush, our mini Prime Skin brush, and I'm gonna be using that to apply my blush. So taking that up my cheekbone. You can see what a sculpt it gives me. And like I showed you guys in the last video, I just take a little on my sort of frame of my forehead and just a little across my nose to give me a sun-kissed look. I love the way a powder blush looks sometimes. It just looks really fresh and airy. And now I'm gonna finish the look with my lips. So I take our Lady Godiva lip liner and really focus it on the corners of my mouth. You can already see the fullness that gives me. And my beloved Achieve thing, and really work that on top. So there you go. That is my typical day-to-day makeup look. Did a little something different on my eyes, very minimal, but really fresh. I didn't use any highlighter in this look. Sometimes I like, well, my preference is a more matte finish. If you do like a highlighter, you can always finish it off once you've done the whole look on top of the cheekbones, on the Cupid's bow. You can also put a little bit on the tip of your nose. If you're showing off your chest, it's really nice to put on your collarbone. But I really love a more matte look with a bit more definition. So I hope you guys enjoy, and feel free to save this and rewatch it whenever you need some inspo. Thanks.